Welcome to the All Jammed Up podcast presented to you by Music Never Stopped. Today is Monday, July 7th. And today on the podcast we have Jake and Lily from the band Moonshroom.
What are you doing, podcast for Lot?
Yeah.
Come be on a Lot podcast.
Yeah, hell yeah. All Jammed Up.
This dude's doing a podcast. If you want to be on some podcast, come give an interview.
Hell yeah.
All
Good morning, fools. Welcome to the All Jammed Up podcast. Today is Monday, July 7th. I hope you guys all had a great 4th of July weekend. And all the new fans we had from the Cotter interview, welcome. Thursday was the biggest day of the podcast we have had ever. Guess we got to get some more goose guys in the podcast. But today we have Moonshroom. Half of the band Moonshroom. We have Jake and Lily. They are lovers. They are musicians. And they are half the band of the band Moonshroom. And we talk about where that name came from. Jake's our first Dobro player on the podcast, so we do a deep dive into Dobro playing. We talk about some of the fun covers they do and what success means to them in a live show, what success means to them for their new album, and what the goals are for the future. They just released a new album that came out like 2 weeks ago, I think, Take a Trip, and it's a good album. Check it out. We're going to deep dive into all those things, so let's get right into it. Jake and Lily from the band Moonshroom.
Hey, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Alrighty, guys, we are here with half of the band of Moonshroom, Jake and Lily. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Clint. How about you?
I'm doing good. Where are you guys at right now?
We're at Table Rock Lake in Lampe, Missouri.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in the Ozarks. We're in the Ozarks. We're on a very rare off weekend. We're relaxing. We just got back from a huge West Coast tour. We went out for 3 weeks out to Oregon and Northern California area, and we just got home and did our album release, and now we have a rare week off, so we're enjoying ourselves
It's
down
pretty
at the
great
lake.
because
Yeah.
we've been going nonstop since like the 1st of January.
I feel that. So you guys had the album come out Monday, and then a week off, and then you start tour again Monday again?
Well, so the album came out,
Friday.
yeah, this past
Friday.
Friday, June 27th. It came out, the full album dropped Friday, and yeah, we had an album release party, kind of a hometown throwdown in Lawrence, Kansas, at the Granada Theater, and it was pretty great. It was kind of a full circle moment. That was one of the venues, like, when I was coming up, like, catching shows, I saw, like, countless, amazing shows there, and to be able to do our album release there was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I want to get into the album, but before we do that, I kind of want to rewind a little bit and learn a little bit about both you guys. I'll go ahead and just get this out of the way, though. You guys are a couple?
Yeah, we just
Okay.
got married.
Okay, congratulations. Big year for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Very big.
Absolutely. Almost too big. There is a,
Yeah.
so yeah, we've been playing together for like 6 years, going on 7 years. And then, we kind of met through music and it kind of organically blossomed. And we started playing together in different iterations. And then that gradually grew into Moonshroom, where we were like,
Okay.
hey, we're doing two separate things. What's the end goal? Do we want to be doing separate things, or do we want to be together? And that was kind of what inspired us to like kind of join forces and join our songs together for Moonshroom. But yeah, we just got married like three weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and in lieu of a traditional honeymoon, since we were so busy with the album release and
You just did a
kind
tour
of
instead.
yeah, exactly. We went on a honeymoon shroom tour.
Okay.
So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, congratulations, guys.
Thank you so
I
much.
do want to. So, Jake, you're my first Dobro player I've had on the podcast.
Wow.
Very cool.
And every time I see someone play one of those, I'm like, this is just a flex. This guy has to know how to play regular guitar. He just wants to show everyone he's cooler than us. So I want to go back to when did you first pick up a guitar, and what was that transition like for you from going to just a guitar to Dobro?
Okay, yeah. this is kind of a long story, but I'm going to try to condense it
No
here.
worries.
So
We got plenty of time.
I start playing guitar, not unlike most 10-year-old kids, raised up on classic rock, loving the alternative rock and punk music that was out at the time, kind of having my parents influence me with the older music, and obviously getting influenced with all the music that was going on when I was growing up. And naturally, I get a Fender Squier starter pack for Christmas one year. I had started to learn and take lessons on like a tiny nylon string guitar that me and my brother used to share. And I get a Fender Squier starter pack for Christmas. It comes with a Fender Squier, which is like the economy model of like a Fender Stratocaster,
Okay.
a little tiny amp, and a gig bag. It's kind of a starter kit. And I'm sure a lot of guitar players have a very similar origin story as far as that goes. But
I do.
yeah,
Mine
yeah,
is
yeah,
the exact
yeah.
same, even from the same store.
Yeah, we have like three
Oh,
of the
really?
same guitars for some reason, because everyone has these Fender Squier starter packs, and I learn music where it's like I'm influenced by Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner. Oh wow, there's a weird Blink 182 thrown in there for some reason, and
Okay.
I'm in that whole world. Fast forward a little bit, I realized that I like to write songs. So like I've been writing songs since I was like 10 years old. Lily and I have that in common. We've both been writing songs since a young age. And when I'm 18, I start to go to more music festivals, in the time of like being 16 to 18 in high school. I start to kind of, get in on the scene and like start to go to live shows and realize, oh wow, there's this whole music scene that exists that is like similar aesthetic to like this classic rock, acid rock,
Mm-hmm.
southern rock, hippie music, that I was getting brought up on, like I started listening to Grateful Dead. I started to realize, oh wow, Tedeschi Trucks is like southern rock royalty essentially, and they're carrying that torch forward, and I start to get into all that kind of music. And around this time I'm getting into bluegrass music. I'm seeing Yonder Mountain String Band. I've been going to Walnut Valley Festival in Winfield, Kansas, which is like our bluegrass festival in Kansas that's been going on for like 50 plus years, and it's very traditional, like old folks in lawn chairs sitting and watching like traditional bluegrass bands. I start seeing Yonder and bands like that and start to be like, oh wow, this music can kind of be like rock band music too, and it was at one of Yonder Mountain's harvest festivals. Jerry Douglas was artist at large, and I was saving up for another electric guitar, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna go buy a Dobro. And this kind of set me off on something that was like this strange Dobro destiny, where like the universe just kept directing me towards Dobro. I go buy a Dobro after serendipitously seeing Jerry Douglas. Then a week after buying the Dobro, I get directed to a Dobro Summit, or Steel Guitar Summit, which was like 30 pedal steel guitars in a room at once. It was crazy. And out of that group of players, one guy walks up to me named Chad Graves. He plays in a band called the Hillbenders. He also plays with Keller Williams.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, the name's Gravy. Let me know if you have any questions about the Dobro. You're the only other Dobro player in here. That naturally blossoms into this amazing friendship and mentorship, really. He's like my Dobro sensei. He refers to me as his Dobro protege. And I immediately meet a master Dobro player that is like, hey, here's the ropes. And it wasn't like traditional like music lessons where like, oh, read this music and like come back in a week and see how you performed. It was like whenever the dude was in town, we just Dobro out and hang out.
Dobro.
It was kind of more like kung fu, like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It was very organic and natural, and like really changed my trajectory in life. Fast forward a little bit, I'm learning trial by fire how to play the dobro. I've been playing guitar for years, but I didn't really take leads. My brother took all the leads. Start playing dobro, and I start my own band with my brother and my friend called Grass Fed. We hit the road really hard for 5 years. I meet Lily B, and she asks me to record Dobro on her album. And I record Dobro on her album, start playing with her more and her band, the Lily B Moonflower Band. That progresses naturally. Before you know it, we start dating. Old band kind of, stops playing together. And then I'm playing in Lily's band. She's playing in my band. We're doing a lot of crisscrossing. And then, we eventually form Moonshroom. And, now we're married. And so it's like, I'm serious when I'm like, the universe has directed Dobros my way, and it's like from that moment, there's several other Dobroments in my life where it's just like, oh, I naturally run into Dobro players. People naturally give me steel guitars. Like, I randomly met like Robert Randolph and Rob Ikes at Americana Fest one year, and that led into me, beta testing Rob Ikes's like online Dobro course, and he's one of the greatest Dobro players of all time. I've randomly ran into Anders Beck from Green Sky in Colorado when my Dobro case is randomly falling apart, and he's like, dude, you don't even have a case for your Dobro? Like, okay, man, like, take this gig bag, It's like, we're like, pretty much what I consider some of the best Dobro players in existence have naturally somehow, like, my path has just intersected with theirs at weird different times, and it's been very organic and natural and not forced in any way. It just happens, and I'm here for it. And I'm sorry if I just rambled too much, but that's kind of the crash course of Dobro for me, if that answers your question at all.
Yep, that's our time, man. We're all good. Thank you for the interview.
Okay, thank you for spreading Dobro awareness today.
No, man, that's awesome. I got a couple more questions about the Dobro, and then Lily, I promise it's your turn.
No worries, man.
Is the Dobro, when you're learning that instrument, is it different than just guitar? Like, is there much more feel involved in it than one would think?
What I would say the interesting thing is the Dobro falls into the steel guitar family because, whether it's a pedal steel, a lap steel, or like an acoustic Dobro or a Hawaiian slide guitar, it's all about that you're playing with steel. You're sliding with a steel bar. So I would say that was the most difficult thing, was retraining the muscle memory, because you don't fret that instrument. At no point do the strings touch the frets, which is what makes it unique. Every other instrument that's fretted, for the most part, you are pressing the string to the fretboard. On the Dobro, it's all about sliding and finding the pitch through properly sliding the steel. So I'd say like the technique for the steel and the finger picking, which is essentially banjo picking, that was the learning curve for me. I was like, okay, I have to learn, instead of my left hand doing this and fretting, instead of my right hand doing this, suddenly my left hand is sliding a bar over the fretboard to get the correct note, and my right hand is like finger picking like a banjo,
So it's basically a totally different set of skills you have to have.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And again, I was very fortunate to have some master Dobro players just happen to come into my life to help kind of, give me the speed run course. Like, I felt like since I started learning to play Dobro, every time I met a Dobro master, whether it was Chad Graves or Rob Ikes or Anders, like, even though like some of those, like with Chad Graves and Rob, I was taking longer lessons, whereas I met Anders just for one random night in Denver, but like each of them kind of imparted some Dobro wisdom on me in different ways. And like, it's kind of like in Mario Kart, when you hit the arrows and like it just shoots you forward. Like, that's kind of what happened every single time, I had a Dobro master just appear in my life, so. Yeah,
that's awesome. I love too how you, all the puns, the Dobro puns you have too. I'm sure that's come over the years. Oh yeah, that's my fallback plan. If the music ever falls through, I just want to have the Dobro pun market cornered for like t-shirts or something. That's hilarious. Well, Lily, we know that you had the same guitar as Jake when you were a kid, but kind of how was your evolution and growth as a musician? And a question I always find interesting too is like, when you first started playing, what was kind of the sound that you were going for? Like, what were you trying to emulate? Kind of why you picked up the guitar?
So It wasn't actually my plan to play guitar in the first place. It was my grandpa thought I was a really shy kid. I was his first grandchild, and he was like, "Oh no, she's too shy. She needs help." And he thought that taking me out and getting me a guitar when I was 8 years old would help me, and I think that it definitely did. But when I kind of got in my mind, oh my God, I'm going to be a guitar player, I started getting lessons and everything, and I started learning like classic rock songs off the bat, and like some. Actually, the first song that I ever learned was "Back in the USSR" by the Beatles, and then like I can't remember which AC/DC song it was, but
It's one of the first songs I learned was Back in Black.
yeah, it might have been like Back in Black. But then Taylor Swift became really popular, and
Okay.
I would watch like Hannah Montana when I was younger, and I just loved those girls. So I would kind of try to emulate them because they were my influences. But then I kind of started doing rock camp and writing my own songs, and that was when I was still like in middle school, high school, and then once I graduated, well, a little bit before I graduated too, I started playing like coffee shops and stuff, and I didn't have my own band. I did have a band when I was like 9 years old, 9, 10, 11, and we were like a garage band, like rock band. But yeah, I didn't have a band like after high school, but I wanted one, and I had all these songs. So after high school, it was my goal to record and release an album and to build a band, and so I made that happen. I went out and kind of became part of the music scene in Kansas City and met so many amazing musicians and people that I'm still friends with, and people that helped me along the way and introduced me to things that I never would have known about, and festivals and stuff. And that's where I met Jake and a few other musicians that I had record on the album. And then I was doing like my own thing, and we played like country music. And the Lily Bee Moonflower Band was much like cleaner, countryer.
Yeah, it was more based off of like clean arrangements. There
Yeah.
wasn't as
Not
much,
so much jam.
Yeah, there wasn't as much
Okay.
jamming or like weird tangents going on. Whereas now, like Lily writes these songs, like it's kind of weird. I was in this like shoot from the hip jamgrass band that was like, oh, we're gonna go off in this crazy psychedelic segment that sounds like Middle Eastern music more, and Lily was like more in like this straight laced Americana country band, and then we start playing together, and we like kind of like switched what we were doing, like. Now I'm writing.
He writes the concise songs.
Yeah, I'm writing these concise, straightforward
and
songs.
I'm writing the songs that can go like anywhere, you know.
She's writing these songs with these crazy jam tangents like planned into the arrangements.
And that's where we are now.
Yeah, she started off listening to Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
and now she's in a band called Moonshroom.
That's every jamgrass band, right?
Yeah. Tales old time.
So I want to know. I imagine that, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were probably doing a lot of stuff, just the two of you, like writing songs and doing jams. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say we swap off the songwriting, and then, sometimes it's like I have a fully formed song and I bring it to the band, or she has a fully formed song and she brings it to the band. Sometimes we collaborate between Lily and I. We're like, oh, let's team up and write this song. And like we have a couple songs that aren't recorded, like that we wrote with our bandmates as well. So it's kind of a mix of it, but it's like pretty much the concept for this album at least was we're like, hey, we formed the band to like with the intent to combine both of our musical visions and both of our songs. Like, so this album is a lot of like, okay, let's alternate leads. Like, you do a song, I do a song. Okay, let's do a song that we do together.
Yeah.
But that's like a lot of the way we do it, and we'll write the songs and like have like a concept of where we want to go, and then sometimes we bring it to the band, and like for instance, like our guitar player Colby Walter will be like, all right, I'm going to do this crazy epic guitar odyssey in it, like, oh, you have a song called Waves of Love? I'm going to, like, make it surf rock as fuck right now, And, like, driving through the night, our bass player, Zach Bozeman, he was like, okay, so this song is, like, cool, dusky Americana vibe. What if we did it disco? So we put like a disco segment in there.
Well, he had this moment where, like, at rehearsal, any song we would do, he would, like, do the disco version of it when we weren't all playing together. He would, like, play the disco version on bass.
We'd get done playing the song, he'd be like, okay, now do it disco.
Yeah.
And, we would do it for, like, a bunch of songs, and it was kind of like this funny inside joke.
And then for Driving Through the Night,
he started doing it disco,
worked.
and we're like, whoa, wait,
let's do that.
Let me get this straight. Okay, like that sounds cool as hell, So that became part of the song.
Nice. So it's you guys who are dobro and acoustic, and then there's a bass and an electric guitar. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we on the album we have drums, and we also have guest musicians. Our friend Stosh Haney came in and played piano, fiddle, Fender Rhodes, and Wurlitzer.
And there's some brass
tracks.
Instruments in a couple songs too.
And we had a
right?
horn player.
And, our friend Mark Hamblin came in and played trumpet and sax.
Yeah, he layered he was his own horn section.
Yeah, and then we had our friend Nate Deal play drums on the whole album, and he's a longtime collaborator. And for select shows we incorporate drums. Sometimes certain shows are like more string band directed. But, like, I'd say, like, overall what we're going for is adding a permanent drummer into the mix.
And I want to mention that our electric guitar player, Colby, also plays mandolin in our shows.
And melodica.
I like that you guys can be like a traditional string band, or you can add the drums or add the brass. I like that. Again, I've never seen you guys' show, but I would assume that like there's never going to be the same show. We're going to bring this guy in or bring this guy in. So I think that's pretty cool that you guys do.
Dude, it's fun. We switch it up a lot.
Yeah,
like over the whole show, it's like Jake's playing dobro. Oh, now he's playing guitar. Colby's playing mandolin. Now he's playing guitar. Now he's playing melodica. Our bass player will be playing the electric bass and then the upright bass, all in one show.
This is our dog, Honey.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Honey just came on tour with us to Oregon. It was crazy.
Tour dog. Hell yeah. We love that.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, like Lily said, we do like to mix it up. We like to keep it fresh. Because, like, when we first started Moonshroom, we just started putting out duo videos.
Yep.
We were like, hey, let's do a duo video. And then
one of you guys at Shasta is sick.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Dude,
I like that one.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We actually have a few videos at Shasta now because...
We just spent 2 more days there.
Well, yeah. You're probably talking about the most recent one we did. And then 3 years ago, we were also there recording videos. So if you look back, there's like at least 1 or 2 videos from a few years ago there as well.
Gotcha. And sticking with the Moonshroom thing, I did like some research on Reddit to find some more stuff find some stuff out about you guys. And there was a post that you guys put in like the Bluegrass subreddit, and it kind of got a weird reception. Some people were like, "Oh, this isn't traditional bluegrass." But I really liked your reply in one of it. You said Sam Bush was the father of newgrass. You called John Hartford the drunk uncle, which I love that comparison. I'm a big John Hartford guy, so I thought that was hilarious.
Hell yeah.
But then the thing that stuck with me the most is you said the acoustic genre is becoming spread too thin to not stick together. So I want to see, like, from your point of view, like, I do think there's a lot of like snobs in bluegrass where it's like they want 4 or 5 guys, all stringed instruments, nothing else. And,
Yeah.
and it's kind of evolving with like, you see guys like Fireside Collective, they have a drummer.
Killing it.
Yeah, so like, and to me, that's still bluegrass. Is it traditional bluegrass? No, but it's still bluegrass.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to hear like your guys' take on that, and what's the direction that you want to stick to while still like, I know you don't want to be boxed into bluegrass. You want to be different kinds of things, right? And I just kind of want to hear from you what that look like. What's that look like?
So yeah, to kind of Yeah, I'm really glad you bring this up because this is a cool way to direct a question. But I guess when I started getting that response, where it's a mixed response of people, oh, I love it, not for me, not my cup of tea, nah. Oh, I listened to this and wasn't sure how I felt, and upon listening to it 4 more times,
Four
this
times,
fucking
yeah.
slaps. You know,
Yeah, I saw that one.
dude, like
Hilarious.
that to me was I was like, okay, we did something right because
Yeah.
the whole concept was I was like, I hold a deep place of reverence in my heart for traditional bluegrass.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's pure. It's clean. It is like this condensed like perfection of vision. But at the same time, even Bill Monroe, the founder of bluegrass, was like, hey, this is the type of music I invented. The fact that it caught on and a bunch of people copied him was a coincidence. And he said, this is the type of music I created. And although he would be a purist of saying, this is bluegrass, this ain't no part of nothing, he still was like, take this music and make it your own. And that's what any music is. Music is like living. It's not meant to stay the same. It's meant to evolve and grow and breathe. And, and honestly, the fact that we got that response, I was like, okay, we did something right. Some people
Yeah.
love it. Some people don't love it. We weren't making this album to satisfy anybody else. We were making this album because we think this sounds cool. This is what we want to do. For instance, I learned how to play Dobro from Jerry Doug. I was inspired to play Dobro by Jerry Douglas, but throughout my Dobro journey, there was a couple summers ago where I sat in with Son Squabby, and that was badass. Where I was like, hey, this certainly is not bluegrass, but this is cool. This is something I haven't heard before, or something I've not personally done before. And on the album, I feel like we're able to pay respect to the roots of the music and bluegrass and country, but we're also able to rock out and jam out and take it new places.
Yeah.
On Do the Damn Thing, one of Lily's songs, we were syncing up Dobro and Wurlitzer. And I was like, I've never heard this. I've never heard Dobro and Wurlitzer sync up to a one drop reggae beat. This to me is pay respect to the music to keep it alive and keep that flame burning, but also innovate it enough to help it grow and carry it forward. And I'm not saying our direction's right. I'm not saying any other direction's right. Obviously, purists will have their opinions and their preferences. Like musical taste, I've heard is like perfume. Somebody can smell it and say that's the best smell in the world. Other person is allergic to it. But we're not trying to satisfy anybody. We're just trying to do what we think is fun.
Yeah, we were literally just expressing ourselves and making art,
Yeah, so that's I think that's the correct way to do something. If you're gonna make some kind of art, some kind of music, make it for yourself, or else you're just kind of cheating the person who's getting the art and yourself. But with that being said, there's got to be some metric of success or something that you guys gauge if it's a successful album. What is that to you?
I would say if anyone listens, that's great. And if they like it, that's even more of a bonus,
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been really well received so far. So I feel like with how we released it, our strategy with the release, and how the release show went, I don't know. I feel like it was a success as soon as we got the recordings back that we actually were proud of,
Absolutely. And that's really it's difficult to gauge success in the music industry in general, especially in this day and age where it's okay, is your definition of success how many internet likes you get, or is it having a full room when you show up to a town of people that are passionately enjoying the music and attending a show? And like Lily said, to really reiterate that, I think the ultimate point of success was, hey, we created something without boundaries. We took risks when it was necessary and we felt it in our souls. We created condensed, concise versions when we thought that was necessary. And we ultimately were able to make something where we were proud of it and we were satisfied and we're ready to push the baby bird out of the nest and let it fly. And like
Hell yeah.
that, I think, is like the healthiest way to mentally release an album and gauge its success. It's just that we're artistically satisfied with it, and we feel we did as best as we could at that point in time for that specific recording.
Hell yeah. And the album is called Take a Trip. It's available on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's out
Cool. Just for
everywhere.
the people listening. So if you're listening, as soon as you finish this, go listen to Take a Trip.
Do it.
So-
Yeah, take a trip with us.
There you go. So that's one thing that, like, for me as a jam band fan, Jamgrass fan, you know, I listen to the album. It's good. I like it. But I don't think it's fair to completely judge a band if you haven't seen them play. Because, you know, I
That's
don't
true.
get. Yeah. So I just kind of want you guys to, like, walk me through what a absolutely 10 out of 10, we played our best show out there tonight, what that show looks like for Moonshroom. Is it like longer jams, crowd singing, anything? Like, what's it look like for you guys?
I would say it starts with good energy. I feel like good flow is a huge part of what we look
Mhm.
for in a good show, you know. And if it has good flow and we're connecting with the crowd and they're enjoying themselves, we're enjoying ourselves, it feels good, we're all kind of in the zone, and taking risks, like Jake said, and pushing ourselves to do things that we wouldn't usually do, you know. And then we end it with, like, on a high note, you know. That's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of to piggyback off that, it's like what Lily said, you know, there's different metrics of like what's a good show. Like, oh, how are we performing on like a technical level? How are we performing on an emotive feel level? How is the crowd? Is there a big crowd? Is it more of an intimate setting? Is the crowd going super rowdy? Are they super like well listen, like, you know, a crowd that's listening super well, you know? But like those metrics are definitely like relative to each other, because like it's like some mutual symbiosis going on where, you know, okay, we're having a good night where we're on, and like, you know, the singing's good, the leads are good, we're gelling as a band, the crowd starts reacting and being like, oh, this is an especially good show. They start feeding us energy, and it's like that figure eight, you know, where the crowd's
Yeah.
feeding us the energy, we're able to take that in and put it back out, and it just kind of grows like exponentially towards like the climax of the show. And by the time it's all said and done, it's like, oh wow, that was a good one. I hope we got that recorded. You know, we don't always get it recorded.
I know if
but-
Zach was here, he would say, "Oh, it all starts at sound check. The
Oh.
sound has got to be good.
The sound has got to be good.
If
So,
we're singing
hey,
the whole time, it's just
Hey.
not fun.
shout out to all the good sound guys out there. You know,
Who cares?
Shouts out.
And love their job.
yeah. We have some good sound guys out there at our regular stops. You know, and shout out to all those guys,
Maybe
because
someday we'll take one of them on the
yeah,
bus.
because that does make all the difference. Good sound on stage. I'm sure most bands would agree with that. You know.
Now,
Yeah,
do you
those-
guys
those-
have a show that, like, kind of sticks out as, like, this was our best show?
Oh, man.
I feel like there's definitely multiple.
There's been a couple of those. Normally, it's like in each tour. It's hard to nail it down of like all time, because sometimes you'll have an all-out banger show. You'll be like, that was the best show we've ever played.
And sometimes our bandmates are like, "Oh, that was the best show," and we're like, "What?"
What? Yeah. Sometimes different people in the band will be like, oh, that was the best show ever, and then someone else will be like, are you serious? I thought something was going wrong the
I
whole time.
feel like our album release show the other night
Dude,
was one of the best.
The album release was one of the best. You know, it's kind of, but it's like tour by tour almost. It's like, oh, this one time we played in Omaha, Nebraska, and for whatever reason, it was magical. And like after the show, we get all these people posting about it, and like posting in festival groups being like, book this band. You know, like on our West Coast trip, it might have been the last show we played in Bend, Oregon. We played at McMiniman's Old St. Francis School in Bend, and that was amazing. But like Lily said, the album release show, there was something about the vibe.
From
Yeah,
the second
like-
it started, since we were in Lawrence, Kansas, and the first song on the album that we played was Sunflower State of Mind. It just, like, I could have melted with joy of just, like, feeling at home and just, like, the support from everyone. It was just, like, so amazing.
Because if the crowd is cheering after you deliver a single lyric line, or after, like, a clean solo trade-off, you're like, okay, we're doing something right. They're actively responding throughout the song, not just at the end, you know, like.
Yeah.
And that was a magical show. I mean, it's been a long journey. We've kind of done everything backwards from the typical model. You know, we both had separate projects where we had music out, but with Moonshroom, we already had these connections with festivals and venues, and we've been touring hard for like the past 2 going on 3 years, you know, playing 15 states a year on average, without a full album out, you know? And now that we finally put out the album, it's like, okay, like, we've stacked up some kindling in multiple cities around the country, and now that we're putting the album out, it's like, okay, let's light a fire to it all and see what it takes, you know?
Where did the name Moonshroom come from?
Okay, dude, you're gonna love this, because it was at Mount Shasta.
Perfect.
I'll let Lily kind of take it, because she's the one that thought of it.
So we were on tour as a duo on the West Coast in October 2022, and we were going by our names, and we knew that we wanted to think of a band name, so we were kind of kicking around names. We were camping at the base of Mount Shasta, and we were like putting words together and just trying to come up with unique band names. And when I looked out and saw Mount Shasta, and there was the moon right next to it, and it was a full moon, and I was like, the mountain and the moon, and then we were like, maybe that, and then
Were you on mushrooms?
So yeah,
remember.
actually,
I think
so it was actually like a combination of different types of mushrooms, because there was some mushrooms that were just these gigantic porcini mushrooms that we got from this dude on the side of the road. Yeah, there was a mix of mushrooms in there.
We might have been munching some mushrooms.
We've been in the woods for a few days.
Yeah,
in Oregon,
you gotta
and
do
Northern
it.
California.
We definitely drank a bottle of wine.
We've been hitting hot springs, you know. We've been doing all those things.
But then
It was a mixture of things.
Then the mountain and the moon started to look like a mushroom somehow, and
Hallucinating.
and then I was like putting together words, and I said Moonshroom, and Jake was like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "Moonshroom," and he was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, that's it.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
And then we literally bought the domain name. Well, we looked up Moonshroom and tried to see if it was already a thing, and
we got the domain name.
We saw nothing, and we bought the domain name that night.
Yeah.
And that was in October 2022. And then, that was 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because sometimes I ask that question, they're like, oh, my grandpa used to call me that when I was little. So that was a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, it was in the presence and the magic of Mount Shasta.
Perfect.
We were inspired.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have played a show with Yonder Mountain. You guys have played a show with Leftover Salmon. 2 great bands. Everybody knows them. Is there a show or like a band that you haven't played with that like is kind of a bucket list for you guys? Like, oh, if we could just play with them one day. Anybody like that for you guys?
Dude, I don't really think they have openers, but I would love to do a show with Tedeschi Trucks one day. Derek Trucks is like slide guitar royalty. You know, they're at the stage in their career where they don't need no openers, you know, but like those guys, that would be a cool show just because like, I feel like they also push the boundaries of music around a lot, you know, like where it's like, they kind of hit you with some surprises that you're not expecting.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I love Susan.
There's a lot of people.
She's so sweet.
There's a lot of people I'd love to play with. You got any of them?
No. I think I said Dolly Parton the other day. That'd be
Really?
cool.
That one's out of left field.
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
wasn't expecting that one. First time I've
Yeah.
gotten that
Yeah.
on the podcast.
I mean, yeah, I could really just like go through this list of Dobro players I want like Dobro nerd out with, you know? Yeah, dude.
Who's the
I'd
guy
love to
from
do
Leftover Salmon
Vince,
on the Dobro?
Wait, are you talking about the
Jay
Dobro
Starling?
player?
The
You're talking
Dobro
about the
player on Leftover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Jay Starling. He's a great guy,
Okay.
dude. We got to Dobro nerd out a little bit. He's actually bluegrass royalty, dude. He is the son of John Starling from Seldom Scene, which
Didn't know
coincidentally
that.
has one of the greatest dobro players of all time, Mike Aldridge, in it. Sorry, stumbled through that one. But yeah, so he's the son of John Starling from Seldom Scene, and Seldom
Nice.
Scene had Mike Aldridge, who's like literally like he's one of the greatest dobro players of all time. So it's so cool that Jay plays dobro, and that he's in Leftover Salmon because he crushes it on dobro
He really
keys
does.
and
Oh my
lap
God.
steel.
It's amazing.
Dude, all those Leftover Salmon guys are so cool. Like
So good, yeah.
they are the type of guys where we've done a few festivals with them throughout the years, and they are the type of guys that are coming out to the parking lot. They're coming out to the field at festivals, and they're jamming with the
Yeah.
people, dude. Like, there's been a couple instances where I've jammed with Vince late night, or Vince has appeared at the jam out of the fog and the darkness. Vince just shows up. You're like, holy shit, Vince Herman's. Yeah, Vince is just coming out here to pick with us right now, dude. And
That new country blues song they do is like one of my favorite songs right
Oh,
now.
it's
I'm obsessed with
amazing.
it.
It's
I
amazing.
love
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome. What kind of fun covers do you guys do?
We got some John Hartford in there.
We do
Yeah.
Express Yourself.
Okay.
We do Benny and the Jets.
We did
Nice.
John Hartford, Get No Better. Get No Better. Love it.
Okay.
We do Up Above My Head.
Okay.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah, we kind of pull from it. We try to do old songs too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I like
we
that.
try to take like a lot
Not
of
really any new
we
songs.
try to take a lot of like traditional songs and be like, okay, let's gas this up in like our own way, Like
Yeah.
let's fire this up.
He does Reuben's Train.
Do Reuben's Train sometimes.
Gotta. If you're a bluegrass band, you gotta.
Yep. Let's see, what else do we do? We do some Ernest Tubb.
We've
I
done
want
Born to Be
someone to
Wild a couple
cover-
times. What about
Oh my god.
Born to Be Wild?
That's actually
I don't,
really fun.
I don't sing it.
It's so
You're
fun.
lucky I don't. 'Cause
I love it.
Lily's a way better singer. Okay, she's amazing.
I want someone to cover that John Hartford song called My Rag.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I can't find because he plays it kind of slow, and I'd like to see like a newer jamgrass band covered. I think that would be a fun
hey,
one.
dude.
We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll look into it for you.
We do some
Okay.
Jillian Welch.
Okay, nice. I haven't listened to them all that much. I have a buddy
Oh.
who really likes them, but I've never really taken a dive.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. It's like high art.
It's amazing.
If you're trying to relax, if you're trying to go for a car ride and like make it magical, put on some Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings.
Will do. I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, some
Um,
people pronounce it Gillian, some pronounce it Jillian.
Jillian.
Some
I
do
don't
the
know which
silent
one's
G
right.
and it's Gillian, but she's amazing.
We love her.
No matter what you call her and Dave Rawlings, it's amazing.
Nice. Well, I figured before we wrap it up, you guys are the first couple interview I've ever done on the podcast.
Really?
So I figured that we could do a fun, I think, I could be wrong, but it's escaping me right now. So I figured we could do a fun game to close it out where I'll ask a question. So like I'll ask Lily, and then you guys will both answer at the same time, and then I'll ask Jake, and you guys will both answer at the same time.
Deal.
Nice.
That
I
sounds
like
good.
it.
Okay. So, what is one thing the other person would forget to pack? And we'll start with you, Lily. So, what would Jake forget to pack? Give you a second to think about it. When we got
Like
it,
for a
let me
show?
know.
For a
Yeah,
show?
so like if you guys are about to go on a tour and you
Oh,
forget
okay.
one thing, what would that one thing be?
I already have my answer. It's just like immediately popped in my head without even thinking about it.
All right, let's say it.
Well, no, you have to
Alright.
say yours first.
Oh, I thought we were saying it at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah, so we'll do what Jake's would be, and you guys both say it, and then we'll switch.
Okay.
So this is what Jake would
One.
forget. Are we ready?
Okay. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
toothbrush. Oh,
Ah, there we go.
we're back on toothbrush. No, if it wasn't for Lily, I would forget a toothbrush. Way more. Let the record show.
Nice. Nice. All right.
Enjoy my life for my team.
Now, what would Lily forget?
Okay,
Let
so
me
now
know when
it's
you
what
guys are
Lily
ready.
would
I'll
forget.
count us down.
Okay, 3. Wait, she's drinking a drink. Okay.
Oh, what I would forget. Okay.
Yeah, you got it?
Do you
Yeah,
know?
I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
My
Stop!
phone. Oh.
Oh, okay, she said her phone. I am the wrangler of Lily's phone. I will find it at random points. I'll be like, why is the phone like on this front ledge of the stage? Or the phone's just sitting on the merch booth next to the koozies. It's her phone and wallet. I'm like, how is this here? Though, okay, here's the thing. Socks. Tour specific. She has like 20 pairs of cowboy boots on any given moment on tour. She has a whole bag of boots, for accessorizing options. No socks. Like, she'll be like, Jake, did you pack any socks? I'm like, yes, I did, because I knew this was coming. I know
Nice.
you got all them boots, but no
Still,
socks.
Both of those things.
Yeah. Hey, we both have our strengths we bring to the table.
Yes.
Nice. And then I got one more for you.
Yes.
Okay, so most used phrase or word. So we'll do the same. We'll let it be Jake's pick. We'll let Lily go first.
My catchphrase?
Or
Yeah,
just a
okay.
word you say. My guess for the word you would say would be rad, just based off our couple conversations.
Oh, yeah, dude. Rad would probably be pretty accurate.
Yeah. Wait, do you have a catchphrase?
I do.
I should know this. Okay, wait. Let me think. All right.
I'll let you guys count it down.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Email.
Dude. Oh.
Started out
Do you want-
so hot on the toothbrush.
Yeah. We're so hot on the toothbrush. That was the high note. Wait, what did you say?
I said, dude.
I do say dude a lot. It's like a subconscious thing.
Same.
So, I was born in 1992. I don't have a choice but to say dude way too much.
Oh, actually, your catchphrase is
I need Phantom Power.
I need Phantom Power.
We need Phantom Power on this.
Because on his
My
pedal
pedal board needs
yeah.
Phantom Power, so I'm always like, I need Phantom Power. And I also do
Damn it.
the booking and the tour managing, so I'm like always trying to email, which is terrible. I got into music because I didn't want to send emails.
And now it's all
I
you
know
know.
Here
how
I
that
am.
goes.
Yeah, dude, you get it. Well, okay, but I got Lily's. I think this one's gonna be like pretty unanimous. Like the band is also gonna be like channeling through me. Like they also knew the answer to this.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
I'm
hungry. Yep, she's hungry all the time. All the time on the road.
Awesome. Well, hey, you guys did pretty good. 50%. That's not too bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take it.
Well, I think that's pretty much all the questions that I had for us today. Do you guys have any plans to come to Asheville soon?
Dude,
Sure hope
we
so.
really need to. Hopefully this fall. We're trying to get out east.
We're trying to come
Okay.
east this fall. We're going west a couple times this summer. The goal is for the fall. Working on it is hopefully because we come to Nashville pretty frequently, so it's like it's only a hop and a skip away from
Yeah.
Nashville to
Yeah.
get to Asheville.
I really
So-
want to go. I've heard great things.
Yeah, I've heard great
It
things.
is. Yeah, it's nice
dude.
here.
So yeah, we will try to make that happen. I promise. We got some more tour plans this summer. Where, we're about to go play in the St. Louis area at Pickin' on the Picnic Festival, which should be rad.
Going back out
We're going.
west.
Yeah, we're going out. We're playing at Snow Basin Resort in
Utah.
in Utah in the Salt Lake City area. We're trying to get in on that ski tour.
Yeah.
Building the blocks to
Mhm.
go on ski tour.
We're big
next year.
skiers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though we live in Kansas,
Then,
we
yeah,
go out and ski every year.
We're going to Colorado a couple times before the summer's over. and we're doing a festival in Arkansas. Cool festival in Oklahoma called Terp Float. That's like it's a cannabis / music / float trip festival. It's super rad. We're doing a festival called End of Times Festival in
Arkansas.
Both of those are cool because they combine bluegrass, jam band, and jamtronica. So they kind of got something for everybody. And yeah, hopefully in the fall we'll be coming out your way because we would love to come east.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Very much.
Well, yeah, we can definitely stay in touch on that, and yeah, for sure, guys. This has been a blast. Make sure to stream. The interview's almost over, so now you have some free time. Go stream Take a Trip.
Yeah.
It's on Spotify, Apple Music, and go on their website. They have so many music videos, which I love that you guys are keeping music video. I love a good music video, so shouts out to you guys for that.
I'm glad that
We
is
do.
appreciated.
Yes.
Hell yeah,
Dude,
guys.
This was
Well,
fun, man.
Yeah, this was really fun.
I love the game idea. That was fun. It was nice to meet you, Clint.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna come to Asheville just to hang out with you.
Yes.
Even if we can't book shows.
I love it.
Just kidding.
Love
We'll book
that.
some shows. We'll make it happen.
You just got jammed.
welcome back from that interview with Jake and Lily. That was so much fun. Those guys were fucking awesome. Games. First, like I said, first couple on the podcast. It was fun to play that little game at the end. It was fun to learn a little bit more about them and inspirations and all that good stuff. And you know, they actually reached out to me first to do the interview, and I started listening to them, and I really enjoyed them, and I hope you guys do too. You should check them out. Take a Trip is what the album's called. They're on a pretty extensive tour right now in like the middle of America, the Midwest, I guess you could say. Hopefully we're gonna get those guys out here in Asheville soon so we can see them. But yeah, man, that was fun, a lot of fun. They were having fun, and that's what this is all about, is having fun. And here in Asheville, we got a crazy week coming up. We got Donato, Railroad Earth, and Yonder Mountain playing on Friday. Sons of Stars after show. And then on Saturday, we have Sons of Stars opening for fucking Sam Bush at Pisca Brewing. And then Sunday, we have Sons of Stars like we always do. So it's a great weekend here in Asheville for music. And I'm excited for you guys to, you know, fucking figure it out. And this Thursday we have our 50th episode. So you know Alex Bazemore was there. We had Alex Bazemore, we had Jason, Alex, and Johnny there for a little bit. And we also had Hannah Ramsey, who's announcing some exciting projects that she has coming on. We go through, we make like dream bands. And yeah, Thursday's episode is a lot of fun. So I hope you guys can check that one out. And yeah, guys, so good week here for the podcast. All the new guys here, I know there's a lot of you guys from the Cotter interview, and we're happy you're here. We are not goose haters. I got a lot of flack on Reddit the other day by being a goose hater. Not a goose hater. I have an opinion. Let me have an opinion. But that's neither here nor there. But have a great week, you guys. We'll see you on Thursday with Hannah Ramsey and Alex and some guys from Sons of Stars. And remember, wherever you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be.
Come along, have a drink with me. We can talk about the world and how the world is turned so slow. Oh, oh. Day and night I found cars they drive and planes they fly. I look into the sun and the sky, you're so bright. It's you that I have found. Oh, and I know there's not much longer now. Or if the world would just slow down. The stars, they sail across the sky, and I could watch you dance all through the night. When the rhythm is right, oh, and I know the sun sun is rising now. Or if the world would just slow down. So you move with me and I'll move with you, and I could spend the rest of my life by your side. It's you that I have found. Oh, and I know it's not much longer now. Or if the world would just slow down. There's not much longer now. Or if the world would just slow down.